All right, so here we go. What we have so far is this. We have our room drawn, okay, with basic walls. We've got our door, and we don't even have a doorknob on it yet, okay? So we're going to put some framing on our door like this, okay? We're also going to put a knob on our door, okay? So the first thing is you should have your ruler or your triangle, okay? If you don't have a triangle, you can still use your ruler. Just make sure that it's vertical lines. And what I'm going to do is out next to my door, I'm going to draw a vertical line going straight up like this, okay? And then a line to my vanishing point, like so. Okay, and I got this a little bit extra here. That's okay. You can just erase that. Not a big deal. Okay. Now to make it look like it's in perspective, one thing that we can remember is that if it's further away from us, it's going to be smaller. So on the back side of the door, the framing is going to be considerably smaller as far as the width goes. Okay. So you can see that's a little bit thinner there. Maybe I could make this a little bit wider out here, okay, to give it a little bit more visual depth, okay, if I wanted to, okay. Alright, so what we also have is we have this extra leftovers. We're going to erase that, okay. And then we have our horizon lines cutting right through our door. I'm going to erase it kind of lightly, but we still should be able to see it a little bit on our own paper. May not be able to see it on mine. That's okay. What we need is a handle or a doorknob. Okay? And the thing to know about this is if we're looking straight on at a doorknob, we know it's a circle, right? But if we drew a circle right here on the door, it's going to look really funny, look really weird. We're looking at the door from an angle. So what we're actually going to end up with is an ellipse like this, okay? So the other thing too is we remember our horizon line is also our eye level, okay? So what I'm going to do, if we look at our door for the closet over here, if we're to stand up and look at the closet, our eye level would be about 2/3 the way up the door, okay? So this is like a really tall door. Basically, our handle should be a little bit lower, okay? So maybe around like here-ish, okay? But it should be below the horizon line, which is our eye level, okay? And if you want to, you can put the little cylinder that goes into the door as well, okay? And that's kind of in a weird spot. I'm actually going to move it over. There we go. Okay. And as you, yes ma'am. Sure. I got erasers right up here. Okay. As you can notice too, what I did was I made this kind of overlap the door frame a little bit. That's fine. You can do that. It helps add to that visual depth as well. Okay. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put a TV or poster or window on the wall. It's the same process for doing any of those. So the next step is going to be this box right up here. Okay. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a vertical line on this wall close to us. Okay. So if you don't have a triangle, you can just use a ruler. Just make sure that it's straight up and down with the outside edge of your box. Okay, you wouldn't want it like this where it's really skinny down here and really wide up there. Okay, so it should be straight up and down with your box. And then from the bottom of your line, you're going to draw to your vanishing point. And the top of the line, you're going to draw to your vanishing point. Now when you do this, these vanishing lines, you still want to do fairly lightly. Okay? Vanishing lines should still be pretty light. Okay? what do I do now, Jackson? Yeah, I need to put another vertical line back here, okay? I need to finish off this window if it's going to be a window, okay? So somewhere on my wall back here, depending on how big I want my window to be, I'm going to put another vertical line at the back side, okay? And if you remember, the front matches the back, okay? Or the back matches the front. So if I have a vertical line in the front, I should have a vertical line in the back. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase these leftovers, just like that, okay? What I can also do is I can also erase my horizon line that cuts through my window if I want to, okay? And if you want to, you can add framing around your window just like we did for the door. Same deal. You do your vertical line and then your vanishing point lines. And then do your back vertical line, like so. Erase your leftovers. And you're left with this object on your wall, whatever that object is, okay? Now I'll show you a couple different ways that we can change this thing to make it look like what we want it to look like, okay? Give me a thumbs up if you're at this point. I don't want to go too fast, okay? Keep your thumbs up so I can see where we're all at, okay? All right, good. Okay, so now if I wanted to make this a TV, I'm going to zoom this in here just a little bit. I'm going to zoom this in a little bit. Okay. All right, so if I wanted to make this into a TV, it's really pretty simple, okay? What I have is this inside part will be my screen. This outside edge is going to be basically the outside frame of my TV. So what you need to do is realize a TV isn't like as flat as a poster or a piece of paper, okay? It's got a little bit of depth to it, even if it's only like an inch wide, okay? It's got a little bit of depth to it. So what you would need to do is over here on the edge, and I'm going to make this framing a little bit smaller so you can see this better, okay? Make it like this. There we go. So you can see this a little bit better. All right. Over here on the edge, what I would need to do to make this look dimensional is I would need to add a horizontal line. And it can be real thin if you want it to, but it should still have a little bit of dimension to it. Okay, I'm going to add a horizontal line at the top and the bottom, like this, and then draw that line in there. And you can see what I have now is I have a actual dimensional looking TV. Okay, and if you wanted to, you could add buttons down here. Okay, some of the buttons aren't even on the front of the TVs. Most of them aren't. I guess most of them are on the back side now, but you could add speakers on the side if you wanted to. You could put a sound bar underneath. You know, however you really wanted to do it is fine. If you wanted to make this into a window, that's really easy too. Okay, we've already got the frame on the window. I'm going to erase this because our window usually sits flat on our wall. Okay. If you wanted to make it into a window, this is really simple too. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the center of my window. Okay. How do I find the center? We made a note to ourselves to find the center of objects. How would I find the center of my window? What would I do? Okay, the horizon line will tell us where our eye level is, but it won't tell me the center of my window. If I look at the very top of my page, what did we write? That note. If we use an X, that's right. If we use an X. So if we go from the corners of the object, it's going to show us the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my ruler and just draw from corner to corner. Like so. Okay, and what this does, it doesn't tell us the measured center, but it tells us the perspective center. Okay, as you can see, it's a little bit further back on the wall. This side's a little bit bigger. Okay, but it'll tell us the perspective center. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide the window in half, top to bottom and left to right. So to do it from top to bottom, this shows us the exact center of our window. Top to bottom, what I'm going to do is line up the vanishing point to that center point, and I'm not going to draw a line all the way. I can if I want to, but I don't have to. Just going to draw a line right there on the window because that's the only place I really need it. That way I don't have to erase way back in here too. Okay. And then I'm going to draw a vertical line going right through the center. Bless you. Okay. Get to that point, give me a thumbs up. Good. Got a couple people ready to go. Good, good, good. All right. Okay, so from here I can erase this X, and what you can see is I have the bare bones to put in actual panes of my window. So what I can do if I want to is I can, make these a little bit wider to make it look like an actual window pane. Like that. Okay. All right, so that's where we're at this point. Okay, so our window's done. Let's look at making a floor. Okay, and we're going to look at we're going to look at how it's going to be if you wanted to do a wood floor with like planks, or if you wanted to do a tile floor like what is in our room right now. Okay, and this is not too difficult to do. All right, so I'll zoom back in here a little bit so we can see better. This part works best if you can actually measure, okay? And I'm going to use the centimeter side, and my back wall is really close to 7 inches. I'm just going to try and mark it as close as I can. If you need to split the difference, like if it's a little bit over 7 centimeters, like make sure that each side has the same amount of millimeters on it. So maybe you have 1 millimeter on this side extra and 1 millimeter on this side extra. That'll just make sure that it's really nice and even. Okay, but mine's pretty close to right at 7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little mark at each centimeter like this. Okay. And then to get my planked floor, this is actually pretty easy. All I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the mark that I had on my back wall with my vanishing point line. Okay? And then I'm just going to draw a line right here. And again, you don't have to, if you don't want to, you don't have to draw a line all the way from your vanishing point. You can just draw it where you need it. That way you don't have to erase those extra lines later on. You wouldn't even have to do this step right here. Okay. So right now we're just putting in our floorboards.